Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous, hosted by Bruce Hutchin. I'm so happy you joined us today, and you're going to find out a lot about whitetail hunting on the show. This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 374. Hey, today's show, we welcome Bill Anderson of Shoot to Thrill TV. He's on the local Fox station there in Missouri, but more important than that, just because he's on TV, he's a great guy. He's passing on the hunting tradition to his family, and he just gets out and he'll hunt anything, ducks, geese, and turkeys, and whitetail. He loves them all, and he's going to share why he loves them and lessons and techniques that he's learned along the way that you might be able to close the deal on your next hunt just because he gives you a couple of those tips. Bill Anderson, Shoot to Thrill TV, next. It's never too early to think about food plots. Whitetail Rendezvous has an ebook for you. Just simply text 33444 food plot to get your copy. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. Hey, we're going to talk to Shoot to Thrill Outdoors. What's that all about? Well, Bill Anderson's going to share with us today and over the next 30 minutes and why he started it and his Native American heritage, and he's really proud of that. So we got a lot of things to talk about in the next few minutes. So, Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bruce.
So let's talk about the show, Shoot to Thrill Outdoors. How did that start, and why did it start? And let's just unpack that.
Okay. Well, Shoot to Thrill Outdoors came about a couple of years ago. I was actually in my pickup truck, driving down the highway, and was thinking about, I'd already started filming and was thinking about how I wanted to do things, how I wanted to be a little different from other shows. I'd already had started a group called Heart Shot Bow Hunters, and believe it or not, the song from AC/DC, Shoot to Thrill, came on the radio. And it automatically, for some reason, that song triggered my thoughts about how Ted Nugent and Chris Helms produced their show. And they're different. They're like nobody else out there. So it triggered my thoughts on to just be different and to have a name that really kind of encapsulates the moment of like when you're shooting at your game, whether it be gun, bow, crossbow. It's such an adrenaline, it's a high, it's a thrill. And when at that moment of impact, you finally can exhale. And so that's how that came about. And the show came about. I have a contract with a local Fox TV network. I was approached by a media company, and we got together and got a contract hammered out. It's kind of an open-ended contract because it does take a long time to produce a hunting show. You have to have tons of footage. So that's how that came about.
So what's about? Let's talk about when somebody goes to view Shoot to Thrill. Is it on Carbon TV, Gen 7, Pursuit channel? What channel is it on?
It's actually on my local Fox network, and I talked to Jody Blackwell a little bit about Gen 7. That is something that I am going to pursue. Carbon TV, I have contacted, have not actually spoke with them, but I have gotten the gist of what their requirements are. I do have some contact with the Pursuit channel. Their demographics and their specifications are a lot more stringent than the streaming media. Now, that being said, Gen 7, Carbon TV, and there are some other ones that are popping up out there that I saw at the ATA show. All that digital media, everything is going digital. So, as far as how your demographic is approached with your partnerships and your sponsorships for your TV show and your groups, your partnerships and sponsorships are really leaning more towards that digital media, such as Gen 7, because their products can be brought up and viewed on a smartphone, tablet, iPad at any given time, 24/7. It's not something that just gets viewed, on a 30-minute show once or twice a week on one of the national networks. So that's something that I'm having to look at really hard, and probably going to pursue that a lot harder than the local TV networks.
And that's interesting because I've heard, I was at ATA and, I talked to a lot of people. I'm going, okay, what's this all about? And, why is it, changing? And I had one guy share with me that he used to get $100,000 a year from a sponsor and to be on one of the major channels. And that money has turned into $10,000 for 10 people. And he goes, it's taken the life right out of me to be able to do what I want to do. And, us in the digital world, I'm a podcast, I'm a radio station, but, I'm a podcast. It's amazing how things are changing and how people are looking at things 100% differently than they did in the past.
Absolutely. Like it or not, we are in the digital era of society. We've become a fast-paced society. You look at McDonald's, any restaurant with a drive-through. Within 3 or 4 minutes, you have your meal, and so it's kind of transcended into most any kind of media, such as what you're doing, even with podcasting. It's just that instant, almost that instant type gratification thing that society has went to. And so your TV shows, like on Netflix, Roku, you pull up, whatever you want to watch at the moment. You don't have to wait for the major TV networks for their scheduling to come on. Say your show comes on Tuesday night at 7:00, whatever your favorite TV show is. You can get on Roku and you can pull it up right now. And that's the way the hunting and fishing industry has headed towards. It would be my guesstimation that even the 3 major hunting TV networks that are national will probably start streaming on Roku as well on demand, because everything is gonna go that way within a period of years. And right now it's like computers and cell phones. It's changing all the time, and sometimes it can be a little stressful to keep up with. But for the most part, digital is where it's where it's all going.
So, what would you say, to somebody that says, "Hey, I want to get in this industry. I definitely want to be part of it." What would you say to them where they should spend most of their time?
Behind the camera, video camera. I will put myself out there, and I know this is going to be a little controversial, but I will say this: if you have not self-filmed in a tree or a ground blind, in an archery or gun hunt, it doesn't matter, for whatever game you're hunting, you really haven't challenged yourself, because if you've done that and you've been successful at it, you really pulled something off, because that is very difficult to do with self-filming and having the correct camera angles. Because you really need, other than just your main camera on a camera arm, you need to have, like on my bow, for instance, I have a forward and rear-facing Ultra Pro X camera, which captures the shot, captures me drawing the bow back, captures my reaction, and then I have the main camera on the game that I'm shooting. And then I have another camera, Ultra Pro, mounted above me in the tree, capturing the whole thing. And it's when you pull that off, you've really accomplished something, because you've not only challenged yourself, but you have just beat that animal at all their senses, because you're trying to keep yourself from having as little movement as possible with your camera, which means you really have to be paying attention. For instance, a deer coming in. If you don't see it till it's 20 or 30 yards from you, it you're hard pressed to be able to get that camera on that animal unless you've already had that camera pointed, luckily by happenstance in the direction that animal came from. So if you're wanting to get into this, I would say do that. Challenge yourself and put yourself out there. And if you're accomplishing that, then you've done a lot. You really have.
And it is a challenge to reach it. And so many people that I talk to, they want to be in the industry. They want to be on pro staffs. They want to have their own TV show. And people got to realize it takes a lot of work to get that done. I'm sure you put a lot of work in getting Shoot to Thrill up and running.
Absolutely. Yeah. For me, the partnerships and sponsorships that have been developed, it's not, there for a little while, Shoot to Thrill Outdoors, I had to kind of pull the reins in on it because it was growing so fast at such a rapid rate. The sponsorships and partnerships that I do have, I'm very grateful for. And I approach those with the attitude, I want to establish a relationship with the owners of those companies. I don't want to just establish a relationship with their product. And I also want to use products that I wholeheartedly believe in and that I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt, from my own mind, my own heart, I know work, and they'll work out in the field, and they'll work for anybody that takes them out in the field. So what products that we have, the partnerships and sponsorships that we have, the relationships have come along just awesomely. And I can't say enough about those people. If you approach it from a relational standpoint rather than holding your hand out for dollars, you're going to get a lot farther in this industry because, number one, it's going to mean more to you. It's going to be more gratifying because then everything else after that will follow. And it takes time. It takes a little bit of time. If it happens overnight, it's not going to be as gratifying. But if you take the time and you build it, and you're not a flash in the pan, and you've taken 2 to 5 years to build something and to get it on its feet to where it's got a real sturdy foundation, and you've got these relationships established that are going to last. Specifically, like there's a couple of sponsors, partnerships that I have, the bow sponsor and the scent elimination sponsor partnership that I have. I've established a relationship with those companies, and I know that come next season, since I have a personal relationship with them as well, I don't have to wonder, well, are these companies going to be supporting me, in the next fiscal year? I know they're there. So that means a lot to me.
And thanks for that. Let's switch it up and let's talk about hunting whitetails and how your 2016 season went.
My 2016 season, honestly, was a little bit disappointing to me. I had some kills. I had a bad experience with an outfitter, and I'm not going to name them because that's not what this is about. But I was told that there was a farm that was being held for me and my cameraman and one other specific TV show. We showed up. One of my staff members drove all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. He was going to film me. We got to the lodge, to the cabin. The other TV show showed up, and then come to find out, we did a 12-hour sit, a dark-to-dark sit that first day, and me and my cameraman both, we knew right off the bat that the place had been hunted hard, and there had been some major kills in there, and you could tell. So that being said, prior to that, I was being told by this outfitter to not, because in Missouri you can only shoot one buck before gun season, one after gun season if you're bow hunting. This was a week before gun season when we had this outfitted hunt. So I held off on shooting my buck till I got to that outfitted guided hunt. And I passed up a couple of really nice deer because I was being told I could, was going to get at least a 170 class deer. That didn't happen. We wound up leaving after the second day. So did the other show, and a few other people left as well. That was a hard pill to swallow. I did get 3 doe kills. I did not get my buck kill this year, unfortunately. But those things happen, and there were a couple of people on my staff that had some really nice buck kills this year. One was a South Texas buck kill, and it's a really nice deer. So, that being said, I learned, and I learned to not be quite so dependent on somebody else. Just do things, as it comes. And if opportunity presents itself this year for an outfit, I'll do more thorough investigating instead of being quite so quick to jump on the bandwagon there. So,
and folks, that's the lessons learned. I learned a long time ago, not every hunt is going to be a great hunt. And, I guess it's a gut check that I've gone to now. If it doesn't sound right, if it doesn't feel right, if the referrals don't work out, just don't go. And you might have to eat your deposit, but it's better to eat deposit than go and spend 5-10 days. And unfortunately, that happened to me only once in my career. But I just knew from the get-go when I wasn't met at the airport up in Canada that the whole thing was south. And I would have been smarter just to say, try to set something up real quick because you're already there, and make some phone calls and do that. Go get a hotel, which I had to do anyway, and then if you can't line something up, call it good, and and just walk, because that was the worst hunt that I ever did, and everything was upside down from the get go. And so learn from that, and don't be afraid to say, I've planned this and I really want to do it, but it's wrong. Just like you left in 3 days because you knew it wasn't going to get any better. So folks, just take that to heart and learn from that. That's my 2 cents on that. Your thoughts, and then we'll move along.
Yes, absolutely. And the reason why we left is because we knew the place had been pressured real hard. So we tried to come home and make the best of the time that we had already planned to take off to hunt anyway. So that's why we left. We knew we had those 3 days freed up, so we just wanted to make the most of our time. Being able to, and we did make some kills. So that was good for us. We got some really good footage, and we learn and we move on.
Let's change it up a little bit and talk about women in the outdoors. It's the fastest growing segment. You had some interesting comments, and let's just kind of camp out here and for about 5 minutes or so and see where that takes us.
Okay. Well, women in the outdoor industry, specifically in the hunting industry, I think it's awesome. I know some ladies that are just some really, they're outstanding bow hunters and gun hunters. And like everything else, it has its pros and cons. And it's the same way with men in the industry. The only thing that I would say about ladies in the industry is that it is easy. I will say this: it's easier for a female right now at this point in time in the hunting industry and fishing industry to attain partnerships and sponsorships, just because the hunting industry is such a male. It had been a more male-dominated industry as far as consumer goes. So that appeals to a male consumer. But the flip side of that coin is, and Michael Waddell has put out a couple, short videos about this. I think one was entitled "Colorado Gear It Down." There are some companies, some ladies in the industry that have just gone overboard with the their photos and things. They're just a little bit racy. In my opinion, that's not what hunting's about. I would rather value a lady for her abilities. not necessarily the way she looks or the way she looks, dressed down in camo with a little too much showing. Um, there, there's one lady on my staff she's an outstanding bow hunter. And she is just a straight up killer. And I value that more than I do on how these ladies look, uh, simply because when it comes down to it, that is male or female. That's our heritage. That's what we have. That's who we are, and that's who we're trying to teach our kids to be. So that being said, you know, ladies in the industry, I think it's outstanding. I hunt beside them all the time, and I think it's really good. I think it's been long overdue. If it's their passion, then they need to pursue it. I mean, to 110%.
And thanks for that. And marketing companies, huge companies have already figured out guys are visual beings.
Absolutely.
And I guess guys, it's really easy. Look when you're looking at your truck, look under the hood and not at the chrome. I guess that's the easiest way I can say it, because I know some tremendous women in this industry. They're flat out, get the job done hunting, and they're wonderful.
Right.
They're wonderful human beings, married or unmarried, doesn't matter, and they represent women very well in the industry. And a good looking gal is a good looking gal, and leave it at that, because we're all
Right.
hunters, and that's the
Right.
that's the message I want to give to our listeners. We're all hunters, and
Exactly.
that's the way it is. And so let's reach common ground and move forward. And I think the other,
Absolutely.
what you said, about some people, that's that will weed itself out, because all of a sudden people say, well, that's great, it's great camo, maybe, or whatever they're selling, or even their TV show. But after a while, people figure out, can they get her done, or they can't, and
Right.
proofs in the pudding.
Right. Absolutely. And ladies like if I can mention her name on air, Melissa Bachman. Um, that she is a straight up hunter. She gets it done. And she doesn't necessarily have a hunting partner per se. There are a few husband wife teams out there. She gets it done. And the other thing is too. The ladies, whether you call yourself a huntress or a hunter, we're all hunters, like you said, Bruce, male or female. And we're brothers and sisters in this industry, and we need to support each other.
Yep. Well, enough of that. Let's talk about your hunting heritage, and you shared about your Native American heritage, and that's how that's helped frame you. So, with the time we got left, 5 minutes or so, let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's my belief that we all have that primal hunting instinct inside of us. I think sometimes it takes something in life that triggers that opens that up. And then there are some people like myself. I realized my heritage a long time ago. I have Apache and Eastern Cherokee in my bloodline. It's just something that I can honestly say that I literally crave. And it's something that for me, it's just, I teach my kids to hunt and fish. It's just part of, I study my Indian, my Native American, if you will, heritage online. I look at things all the time, and I just think that is there. That instinct is there for everyone. I think we're born with it. I think there are people, they know it's there, but they don't know what to do with it. Even I've met people, they want to say they want to eat better. They want to eat organically, but they don't know how to go about doing it. Like, my recommendation is to learn how to hunt. I'll teach you how to shoot a bow, teach you how to shoot a gun. That's organic. So some people, eating organic is buying organic food in the grocery store, which I do from time to time. But, the best organic food that on the planet out there is venison, whether it be elk, whitetail, mule deer, axis. It's the best for you. And that's actually what we as humans, that's what we were intended to eat. A lot of things that have come about have gotten so far away from any kind of Native American heritage as far as, I mentioned fast food earlier. Fast food, that's not what our heritage is about. So as much venison, the renewable resource that we have as I can keep in my freezer, that's what I'm going to do. So.
And thanks for that. And we're at the time of the show now that you get a couple minutes to give some shout outs, and then we got to move on.
Okay. Well, if I could, I'd like to, thank some of my partnerships and sponsors, Obsession Bows, Scent Capture, Luminox, Swacker Broadheads, QAD. I thank you so much, Black Eagle Arrows. I can't say enough about those companies and their support for me and Shoot to Thrill Outdoors and my staff. It's just the relationships they're awesome. They're phenomenal.
Anybody else?
Well, I'd like to thank you, Bruce, for having me on your podcast. It's a blessing and an honor. And I thank you so much.
Well, on behalf of thousands of listeners across North America, Bill Anderson, thank you so much for sharing Shoot to Thrill Outdoors with my listeners today. And again, if they want to get in touch with you, the best way is Facebook again?
Yes, Shoot to Thrill Outdoors, the TV page, and then my personal page, my Bill Anderson page. Also have a group page, Shoot to Thrill Outdoors, and outdoors on both of those is spelled with a Z, not an S, to kind of set it apart from all the other outdoors pages. So feel free to contact me on those or private message me on those.
Well, Bill Anderson, thank you so much, sir, for being a guest.
Yes, thank you, Bruce. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good time.
On the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, we're going to head to Wisconsin, Fond du Lac area of Wisconsin, and meet up with Lee Snyder. Lee's a good friend of mine on the pro staff for Grandpa Ray Outdoors, John O'Brien, who's been on the show a number of times. Lee's got a company called Boot Tracks Adventures, and that's what it's all about. When you hit the snow, when you hit the mud, you're going to leave tracks. Well, his tracks lead to adventures, and he's got a bunch of them. If you've ever thought about fishing or spearing sturgeon, he's got stories about that. And he's got stories about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Going to be a great show. Stay tuned for Lee Snyder, Lee Snyder.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.